This call is now being recorded.
Dr. Mehta, we would like now to discuss case number 2, which also was during your Gwalior tenure at the J&M Medical College, one of its kind or the first case in India identified at that time. Tell us about this story, please.
In one of my outpatients, somewhere in 1960, a patient was brought who had painful bones and joints, and then he came from outside, so we admitted him. On detailed examination, we found he had no joint disease, but he had multiple fractures. And because of the pain, he was keeping everything flat. Then when we further examined the whole body, we found that his eye showed to a naked eye some sort of a ring, brownish ring. So then it occurred to me that he needs investigation.
You mean a detailed eye exam with a slit lamp or a...
And they confirmed, the detailed ophthalmology confirmed that he had a KF ring.
So Kaiser-Fleischer ring, K-A-Y-S-E-I-R, Fleischer, F-L-E-S-H-E-I-R. A KF ring is characteristic of a copper deposition in the descendants membrane, D-E-S-T-M-E-N-T membrane at the limbus.
So then we took him for further workup regarding his urine for copper and chromatograph for aminoaciduria, and both were positive. So then we had to examine somewhere the ceruloplasmin, and we used the local chemistry lab.
So you did not have a regular measure the ceruloplasmin levels,
yeah.
So you resorted to use a biochemist to measure the copper and the ceruloplasmin.
Ceruloplasmin, whether it was deficient or not.
And what did you learn?
So first he had to prepare the reagents for ceruloplasmin testing. From a hair dye he did it, a paraethylene diamine or something. So then he said that the test is positive. That means patient lacked the enzyme ceruloplasmin.
It's actually, I think, a protein, a copper binding protein.
Here, enzyme.
Ceruloplasmin? Okay. Oh, you're right. Ceruloplasmin is a ferroxidase enzyme in humans. Ceruloplasmin is a major copper and carrying protein in the blood.
So then I knew that this leads to deposition calcium in various organs, and also they have copper excretion in the urine. So we got into the agriculture college lab and they did the copper.
So they measured the urinary 24-hour copper because no other techniques were available. So you used the Department of Agricultural Science lab to measure copper. That is interesting.
Our hospital was not equipped to do all these things.
Yeah. So at that time, probably nobody in India did these things.
We the number of X-rays to confirm fracture and rickets.
So did the person have multiple fractures like a rickets?
No, and also the rickets.
Was rickets a part of this condition or was it a separate condition?
No, you can find out the cause. You can find out the patient has rickets by the bone. There is a cortical thinning and a ground glass appearance of the bone, because there may be. Then we have to go for the cause, and the cause in this case was aminoaciduria, which leads to this osteoporosis, osteomalacia or rickets.
Okay, so let me repeat it. Now I understand, because this I was unaware of, because I was not aware of this, that Wilson's disease is a rare cause of rickets, and it can present in individuals as rickets, and the cause will be Wilson's disease. It is something to do with the Di-Toni-Fanconi syndrome, in which you lose bone phosphate, along with the renal tubular acidosis. The acidosis interrupts the metabolic transformation of calcium phosphate, calcium phosphate disturbs the 125D3 production, and I think this is why you get the rickets in Wilson's disease. So, okay.
Renal rickets because of this aminoaciduria and renal acidosis.
So it is vitamin D resistant rickets.
Yeah.
Is that right? That the vitamin D resistant ricket can be a presenting feature of Wilson's disease, and this was reported in as case reports in various journals. Continue. So once rickets was identified, were you able to treat his rickets?
No, we then ultimately made the diagnosis of Wilson's disease with aminoaciduria. By way of treatment, I don't think I had a sufficient
information at that time.
therapy available or whatever you want.
Did you end up treating Wilson's disease with any chelators like penicillamine or Scholl solution?
No, what I did first was I had to see whether there was a tremor or rigidity typical of Wilson's disease. But because of his painful condition, I couldn't test the rigidity, and because of his leg position all along, it was not possible to demonstrate tremors, which are the hallmark of Wilson's disease, affecting the CNS.
I see.
Then I presented this case in a conference in Bombay, Conference of Neurologists in Bombay, and also published it in the newspaper journal. By way of therapy, at that time, I think penicillamine was not available. Sorry. What was the first one you said?
So penicillamine, then there is a solution called Scholl solution, which are, I believe, zinc and ACE inhibitor called captopril. So
you can write down we gave symptomatic treatment.
So essentially, treatment was not possible at that point of time. Was this the first case identified in India?
Well, with the rickets, it was the first case pointed out in the conference when I presented.
Do you know what happened to the patient? Did he have hepatocellular failure, or
he being from a village or somewhere?
He didn't return back.
No return.
So that was an interesting case.